This month, the Middle East was shaken. An Israeli aerial strike hit Qatar, allegedly targeting top Hamas leaders who had gathered in Doha. The attack didn't just rattle Hamas, it set off alarm bells across the Arab capitals. Suddenly, Arab leaders began seriously considering something unthinkable: a pan-Arab military alliance modeled after NATO. The idea was simple but powerful. An attack on one would be treated as an attack on all. But here's where things got even more interesting. Turkey and Pakistan jumped into the conversation. The discussion started to shift from just an Arab defense pact to the possibility of a pan-Sunni Islamic military front that could unite Arabs, Turks, and Pakistanis under one military umbrella. You can imagine the shockwaves this sent through Washington, Tel Aviv, and European capitals. Western leaders, including President Trump, are expected to caution their Arab allies against such a move. Yet despite all that pressure, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan went ahead and signed something significant: a mutual protection agreement. If either country is attacked by a third power, the other promises to step in. Now, for most of the world, this was just another headline. But for New Delhi, this was a wake-up call. India's long, bitter history with Pakistan meant that any pact strengthening Islamabad's hand had to be taken seriously. After all, Pakistan continues to provoke India with cross-border terrorism. And if Saudi Arabia stood behind Pakistan militarily, the threat landscape for India could change overnight. But here's the twist. The very next day, Riyadh issued a statement aiming at calming New Delhi's nerves. Why? Because Saudi Arabia and India aren't just neighbors across the Arabian Sea. They are deeply tied by oil and economics. India is the world's third largest consumer of oil, and the Saudis cannot afford to lose one of its best customers. Think of it like Russia-Europe energy puzzle. Even in the middle of the Ukraine war, Europe has not stopped buying Russian oil. Similarly, India-Saudi trade in energy is a stabilizer, even when the military rhetoric heats up. So let's break this down militarily. India's armed forces rank 4th globally. Pakistan sits at 12th and Saudi Arabia at 24th. On paper, a Saudi-Pakistani tag team sounds threatening, but resource-wise, India cannot be intimidated. Take the naval equation. For Saudi ships to challenge India, they need to travel 2,200 kilometers from the Persian Gulf or over 4,500 kilometers from the Red Sea. Their fleet? About 28 ocean-going vessels, of which barely a dozen are combat-ready. Compare that to India's Western Naval Command: 93 ships, including an aircraft carrier, destroyers, submarines, frigates, and corvettes. That's not even a fair fight. What about the skies? Yes, Saudi Arabia fields a capable air force, but Indian fighters can take off from aircraft carriers right in the Arabian Sea, projecting power directly into Saudi airspace. And don't forget India's long-range missile arsenal, ballistic and cruise missiles that easily cover ranges beyond 2,000 kilometers. Add to that hypersonic cruise missiles flying at Mach 9 speeds, and the deterrents are overwhelming. So where does that leave us? The so-called Saudi threat to India is almost non-existent. If war breaks out between India and Pakistan, Saudi Arabia's role will likely be financial, not military. And that's not new. Pakistan's military has always leaned on Saudi funding. In fact, this agreement may actually be more about Riyadh's security than Pakistan's. With Israel growing more aggressive in the region, Saudi leaders may be looking at the Pakistan's army, the only Muslim country with nuclear weapons, as their ultimate insurance policy. So the real question isn't will Saudi Arabia fight India for Pakistan? It is, will Pakistan fight for Saudi Arabia if Israel makes a move? And that, my friends, is what this agreement is really about. What do you think? Is this Saudi-Pakistan pact a game changer or just an old wine in new bottle? Drop your thoughts in the comments box. Globalheadwinds.com would love to hear your perspective.